Okay, welcome everybody to our official state-required business meeting. Before we get into that, I've got our normal Friday night announcements. So a week from tonight, we have our own Terry Martin that's going to show us the birds of Ecuador. And I looked at some of the stuff and it's just fantastic. So I guess they've got more species than practically any place else in the world. So that'll be in person here in the clubhouse. And then we have our very popular, which was started by Richard Ader last year before, our critique night. So this is no judging. It's a way for you to get feedback from other photographers. We're going to have some of our own CPS members that are going to give you critiques. But here's the deal: we got to get some images to critique, right? So you can send up to 3 images into info@clevelandphoto.org, and it's just a fun night. Then the week after that, Gary Wood is going to be doing Topaz Photo AI, and he emphasized now. So as you know, most software packages change a lot. I don't know what he's got in mind, but these Topaz products are just amazing. So that'll be the following week. The following week after that is the premiere. Like, I know we've got, what, 80, 90 people here, but we might have that many people at this night because it's our annual end of the year awards. That's where you find awards for accumulated points, each category, back wall. There's some other special awards that are given out, and it's just a tremendous night, and it's like the night of the year. There'll be some service awards. There's going to be food. I'm not sure what kind of food, but not dinner, okay? Probably like a cake or something like that. And of course, the main thing is going to be some fellowship with people you probably don't see as often as we'd like to. Okay, we do a picnic. This will be our third, I think. We've done at least 2. So this will be our 3rd annual summer party. I guess you could call it a picnic. There's food involved, but here's the problem. We need volunteers. So Bonnie is our first volunteer. I saw her come in somewhere. So we need some more. If we don't get enough volunteers, it doesn't happen. It's just that simple. We need enough volunteers. You know, more hands make a lighter load. Barb Pennington has been running this for the past the past 2 years that we've had this particular party, and she has agreed that she will not do any work, but tell you what work needs to be done. So we need more volunteers and somebody that might have some of the administrative skills to get the thing going. We do have a date for it. It's August 23rd. But we don't want to wait too long. There are things like a tent that has to be ordered and so forth. And as always, you can watch us live at home. You can get our recordings. I actually tried tonight. You notice it says to open YouTube and search for Cleve Photographic. Now I have this bookmarked, and it comes up the way I like it to. If you do Cleve Photographic, it's a little different experience. So I would do Cleve Photographic and then subscribe to it, and you'll get a good page. But you have to click on live. It's a little counterintuitive, but you got to click on live. So I think that's all of our announcements, and I'm going to turn the rest of the night over to Richard Ader, who was our previous vice president and my previous president and my go-to guy. That.
Get my mic so the people at home could hear. Okay, let me just move this out of the way for a second. Welcome, everybody. I want to go over just what we're going to be doing tonight. Tonight's program is the welcome. Welcome. I have some competition announcements. I'll give you a little past year summary. Then we'll turn the whole meeting back to Chris again, who'll run, give you, again, a little more about the club and our voting. So that's what we're up to tonight. So I want to go over some of the achievements from last year. And let me just turn the center lights down so it's a little easier to see. Unfortunately, much too soon, we lost Dave Tripp. So I wanted to go over some of the things Dave did in his year that he was with us. One, he had an enormous job because we had a very hard time finding people to run the competition committee, and that is a big job. So Dave held down the competition, running the competition committee, as well as all the duties of the president. But it kept the competition season alive by holding down that. So that was a tremendous accomplishment. No one before had done that. He also made it a priority. He met with many of the other camera clubs in the area to look for ways to work together on different projects. And he talked with me many times about that and left me all of his notes and contacts as well. So he was always looking about how to expand CPS's membership. And he also was a real history buff and delved into the history of the club and just some facts that just I'd never even known before. And then in the midst of doing everything he was doing on the side wall, we're going to have a better spot for it. He made over on the side here, had made up a professional thing of the history, from 1887 onward of the club as well. So as you can see, he just did a tremendous amount, and we are saddened by not having him with us. I went over to prepare this again. I'm never quite sure how these meetings run, and I get this and the awards thing mixed up. So I go back to the YouTube and I re-looked at last year's thing to see how it runs. And I saw in there, the voting was getting a bit confusing. People would raise their hands, and then someone would put them down again. We have to raise them again and redo the count. And I said by this year, we would have, and I would take care of, we would have a voting machine by the time this meeting came around. I am sorry to say we do not have a voting machine. So my one promise that I made on last year's video is unkept. So CPS needs. Only thing is, I didn't know Chris would have the slide, so I will just second real fast. The summer picnic, Saturday, August 23rd. I could attest that that it is really a hoot. I mean, basically, barbecue grill, charcoal, and charcoal lighter. What could go wrong? And that is and this is a wooden exterior for the it's a lot of fun, and we all had a good time. Games, everything else, I could really attest. It was great, and I hope we go back to. We didn't have it last year. We had it the year before, and I came so close. The toilet paper wrapping, that was where you had to take your partner and wrap them to, and if it ripped, you're out. So whoever got the whole thing up to. So, but I digress. Again, it's a lot of fun. So again, email us if you want to help volunteer and set that up. At this point, I wanted to, before I actually got my things out of order, in that I did want to make an announcement about competitions and just talk about that briefly. As I said, we had problem getting and filling some positions at competition. I'm very, very happy to announce that we're going into this competition season. A number of people really stepped up and volunteered, and we have a full contingent. Dan Sandy, who before was creative committee, is volunteered to get all of the judges and to be chairman of the competition committee. Black and White committee. By the way, these are also the people, and they're on the website too, but these are all the people, if you have any complaints, you take it to them as well. That is, so Black and White is Dave Saborik, which he's done. Creative, John Paganini, who's here, has stepped in to fill that up too. So thank you, John. Jackie Sayuski is People Committee. Randy Bider is Pictorial Committee. We have a new Nature Chair, Denise Meekins, and we thank her for stepping up to that. Photojournalism, as always, and when I say as always, I mean always, Mariah Kaiser. And Bee Competition, Marge Brady. And end of the year, who ran it this year and was really, again, we thank her for stepping up, was Catherine Kengott. So we have a full contingent Now, what I want to emphasize is two things. One is we have a new policy that the board voted on, is anyone who submits an image digitally through Shutterscore also is giving, there'll be a statement there too. You give your consent for that image to be on our CPS's social media. We have an Instagram page and a Facebook page. And so we'd like to put some competition winners on there occasionally too. So that is going to be the case there. These images are all downsized and whatnot so that no one could really download them. If they do, they're heavily downsized as well. But that'll be a new policy. And again, I used to get asked all the time as well, what does hand of man mean and this, and could I do this? I go, the rules, we have a set of competition rules that was determined by the club and the competition committee. That is on the website. On the website, you just go to competitions, on the program's competitions, and on there, just go competition rules. And for every category, those are the rules. There aren't any rules that aren't there. So what you see there is exactly the rules. So if those questions come up, please refer to that, and you're getting it straight there. Also, some excellent suggestions Bill Keaton had written for us when they stopped doing printing at Costco, a whole big article on really ideas of where you can get things printed for like the print competition and the pluses and minuses of different places. And that again is all on the website under the competition page. So a tremendous amount of resources there. And I really encourage you to, one, for the competition rules, look there, and two, for the competition complaints, the people I listed as well, too. So now that I'm back in sync, I will turn this over to our current president, Chris Bosworth. Chris, it's all yours.
Don't go away. For a lot of reasons, don't go away tonight or in the future. So Richard can't make the end of year night, so I'm giving him an award. Get over here, Richard.
An award for not doing something?
So I'm going to talk later on after our voting just about my vision and things. But I got to tell you, the last 6-7 weeks, this guy, you got an emotional president. He has helped me so much. And is going to continue to. So Richard was in the medical field and he had a lot of patience. So you can open that now. He had a lot of patience. And he's going to need a lot more probably because I don't know.
It's not going to explode. This looks like a flashbang. This is not. Patience pills. With the P-A-I-E-N-C-E, right?
Yeah,
patience pills.
different kind of patience. Yeah.
Chris, it is a pleasure. So
we got a lot to do.
I'm not going anywhere, but I won't be here.
Yeah. Do I have the clicker? So I've got other things I want to say if I can emotionally get through it, but we need to take care of business. This is a required business meeting. I'm going to bring up our secretary, and we're going to vote, and this is a requirement we have to do. I'm going to try to remember things, but did you guys ever hear Robert's Rules? I hadn't. Until I ran my first board meeting. We've had 2 board meetings. I think I'm getting better. But anyway, she's going to keep me on track here, make sure I don't miss something. So first of all, is there anybody here who is not a member, not a current member? Because we want to make sure. So the votes that we're going to do here have to be a majority of the members who are present. So we're going to do 2 slates here. We're going to vote on them just so we don't have to do everybody all at one time or do everybody one at a time. So this is the slate of our officers. And we're going to vote on these as you see them. Me for president, Jen Gaba for vice president, Belinda's our secretary, Chris Goff is out here for our treasurer. We are allowed to take nominations on the floor at this time. If there's anybody here who you would like to, or no, anybody not here, anybody you want to nominate, you could nominate another president if you wanted to. Okay. All right. So we have to take an actual vote here. So get your arms ready because you have to keep your arms up while she's doing our voting. So all those in favor of this slate, raise your hand. Okay.
Majority.
That's a majority. I think it was unanimous, wasn't it? I don't know.
You didn't vote.
Not a member. You didn't raise your, all right, you're in trouble already. Yeah. Thank you for that, by the way. Yeah. So that's a bona fide vote. So these, there's probably Robert's Rules language for this, but this slate of members has been voted on and approved. These are members for the next year, our officers. I'm sorry, officers. All right.
Unanimous vote.
Unanimous vote.
20 of 20, it is unanimous.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, these are our proposed slate of board members. You have 12 board members. They rotate every 3 years. And there's one, Joe is going to be serving just a partial term to fill somebody else, but he's eligible. Board members are not term limited, by the way. My office is the only one that's term limited. So this is your slate of proposed board members, and all those same rules apply. We're going to take a vote on this. So everyone in favor? Is there anybody that wanted to nominate a board member? Okay, so everybody in favor of this slate of board members, please raise your hand.
We have 20 votes out of 20, unanimous.
Outstanding. So this is your board. So now, could we have just the officers? We need to do some pictures. And we're going to use a really big camera. It's called an iPhone. By the way, there's a class for that. And in case I forget later, this picture of the Inner Harbor I did with a cell phone. So the officers first. Let me have the officers. Chris, who are we missing? I don't know if that's going to show on the picture or not, but just in case. Jen? Okay.
All right, let's.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Which one are we looking at first? Okay. Oh, that's. And then our board members, please. Whoops. New ones. I'm sorry, just the new ones.
All right, I don't know you, but here's snuggle up.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. I think that's it, and I'm just going to, so we've got something to show on the screen. So you guys probably think I have like this big PowerPoint ready, and I was going to do one, and I started it, and I decided that's not what I want to do. So what I want to do is I want to have a discussion. So this is not my club. This is our club. So I'm going to just make some comments about what I see. I'm not a visionary, but I see things. So I guess this is what I see speech. And when I'm done, which this shouldn't take too long, we're going to open it up for people's suggestions because it's your club. And this actually is the night that you should be doing that. We do this every time we have a business meeting. We ask for people's input. So history is mentioned. Next month is the 20th anniversary of being in this building. And that's when I joined 20 years ago in May. It was a very different club. The club room actually was this way, not this way. This is a complete remodel. I don't know if anybody was here then. You remember that? So it ran this way. There was only about 100 members. We had none of this technology. We didn't have the gathering room. We didn't have that back office. I don't know if we ever used the police room. Correct me, Joe, if there's something I'm missing, but it was a different club. So fast forward to where we are, we've got a lot more members. And as I've looked those last weeks, the people that volunteer in this club, every volunteer organization, it's the volunteers that make it. And unfortunately, I'm preaching to the choir. Those of you who are at home, unless you have a broken leg or you're in the hospital, it would really be nice if you could come in the club. I'm going to try to be here an hour and a half or so early every Friday night. Come early if you can. I know a lot of you maybe still work. Come in early. Stay late. I mean, sometimes our meetings go a little bit long, but we won't lock the doors while you're still in here. Come and hang out with people, because the vision I have is we want to keep the main thing. We're photographers helping photographers. And that's what we need to do. And I've got a couple of little ideas bouncing around in my head, but I can't tell you that there's going to be anything earth-shattering happening in this next year. If there is, a lot of it's going to come from you. So Belinda actually had an idea, just as an example, before I open it up to the floor. Excuse me, Belinda had an idea of, we've done this before, but not this way, of having a swap meet on maybe one of the Friday nights before, while the judges, if it's a print night, while the judges are working, we won't have to have a speaker for that night. And boy, I mean, Bev does. She's got our whole Friday night, except for just a couple, maybe only one now. Pardon me? Okay, I forget. So those are just an example. I mean, as I look out here, these are the people that I shouldn't be saying these things to, because you're already volunteering and doing things. So the idea is a swap meet. And while the judges are judging the print competition, we need something to be happening while they're doing the judging, so we can go down to the police room. This is all kind of preliminary, but I want to know everybody else's opinion of having a swap meet. You know, the stuff that you no longer want, you want to upgrade or whatever. It's going to be all individual. We'll have some tables set up. It's not part of the club per se, where we're not responsible. It's going to be individual sales. So that's just an example. Before I turn it over to you guys, I'm going to try not to get political, okay? But I have to say this. I said it in my president's message. Our world has become so divided. I don't know why. I don't know what good it does, but I want this to be a safe place. A place where we don't fight. Photographers helping photographers. So before I lose it again, I don't know why I get emotional about some of these things. I guess because my heart's in it, and I want your heart to be in it. So I'm going to open it up to anybody's ideas. We've got one already that we're going to look at. Oh, before I forget, this is kind of important. But please try to remember to wear your name tags, because when I tell people I'm really bad with names and I mean it, everybody else does the same thing. So wear your name tags. If you don't have one, I'm going to place an order next week. And so I've got this sign up here. And those of you who are at home online, you can send it in to info@clevelandphoto.org, and we'll get you a name tag. So everybody's got a name tag. Okay, having said that, do we have some ideas, comments, where you'd like to see the club go?
Well, this is concerning the speakers on Fridays, and I'm not good at talking off the top of my head like you guys are. But for next year, since everything's kind of like booked this year, if y'all have any ideals, like you said, everybody's part of the club. You have ideas for speakers, or it doesn't necessarily have to be a speaker. If you have something special that you want to bring in, like an activity that people can bring their camera in and do, just send a email to, CPS, and they'll forward to me and we work on it. Okay, you don't have to be a speaker, it could be an activity. Okay, or whatever. That's it.
Let me add something on that. Then I'll give it to Bill. There is on this for if you have any. Bev brought up a very very important point. We don't even have to volunteer. If you just hear someone or think someone, gee, this would be a good speaker or whatnot, just email Bev. Bev Frazier, and let her know that suggestion. Same thing, Dan Sandy's in charge of competition. If you know someone, you've seen his work, looked at his site, say, gee, this person does a lot of people, he'd make a good judge, just email, the name and something about him to Dan. So everyone out there in the club, if they just find someone who's an interesting speaker or might make an interesting judge, all you have to do is just forward that suggestion.
You were asking for ideas for something new.
Yeah.
Swap meet, I think, is a great idea. Something I was hoping we would be able to do when we get the new website, but I guess it's not possible yet, maybe down the road. I would like a swap meet of our photographs. I have a stack. I've been competing because I was, chairman. I got a stack of photos in the corner that high. But more importantly, over the years, there's been 3 or 4 photographs from photographers I've seen that I'd say, I'd really like a copy of that. And in the past, I've got one of Bob's photos. I have photo shells on my wall. Most of it's displaying my work, but we got some great photographers. And if we could come up with a database, those of us that have websites, and just pick a day where we email people and say, hey, I'd really like a copy of that photo. And as a member, I'm not going to charge. If somebody wants a copy of my photo, I'm flattered. I'll make it, mat it, mount it, whatever you want. And at my cost, this is not something we're doing to make money. It's something we're doing to exchange things with other people. So for an 11 by 14 printed, matted, mounted, $15 maybe will cover the cost. There's 3 or 4 photographs from members in here I would be proud to put on my wall, rotate them in and out with some other stuff. And I just wonder how many people feel the same way. They've seen photographs and they go, wow, I'd really like a copy of that just to put on the wall. So it might be something to think about down the road.
And for those who don't have a website, maybe we could do a gallery, find a way to do a gallery on our website for people to look at.
Just, you bring in for
Or
this
bring them
month.
in.
Yeah. Perhaps you have some favorites already mounted and matted, and we, choose a night or a day, whatever, bring them in, line the walls, put them on the chairs, and anybody that can walk around and say, I really like that. May I, for $20, take that? And, I think it'd be a great way. And then that will give us discussions on how we took the pictures, techniques, places we've been. I just think it'd be a great way for camaraderie and to take home 2 or 3 prints from our fellow members.
How many people like that? I forgot to ask about the equipment. How many people would be interested in doing the equipment swap meet? Okay. And I'm thinking, Bev, this is a good time of year to maybe think about doing that, whatever our first print competition, whatever first opening you've got, because we're going into shooting season. And a lot of us would probably like to pick up some new equipment.
That also wouldn't take a lot of planning of that too, because if we use the police room
Right.
and CPS is not involved in any of the transactions, it's just a matter for members just giving them tables and they could just arrange their own thing to buy and sell and whatnot. It would kind of run on its own.
Yeah. And we'd have 30 to 45 minutes to do it while the judges are judging the prints. Wouldn't take a lot of effort. That's why when I say it's not my club, it's your club. And these are 2 great ideas. So anybody else? By the way, just to let you, okay, before Lisa, but I got to jump in here because you can see I lay my heart out, right? When we talk about volunteers, I probably have the record for the worst volunteer thing that's ever been done here. I volunteered to be the committee chairman for competitions. I lasted 30 days. I don't know how Bill did that for 7, 8 years. It just burned me out. But they didn't kick me out of the club. It clearly wasn't my skill set. So if you've got a skill set you think we could use, give it a shot. We won't kick you out of the club. They didn't kick me out. So, okay, Lisa.
This is more on the Photoshop side of things. Like they have the mentor program where you can sign up with different mentors that have do different types of photography. Maybe with the Photoshop, have just a couple of breakout groups for somebody with certain types of special effects, like grunge effects or fantasy effects. Like you see some of the creative prints that are here, they're amazing. And it's like, what's that effect and how do I do something like that? So it doesn't have to be a whole class, but just like a breakout group or like a 2-hour thing I haven't thought it all the way through, but I thought that would be a good idea.
I've got something I want to, I wasn't going to mention because I want to flesh it out a little bit more, but, and it's still bounced around in my head. When I joined the club and we had so few members, we really were photographers helping photographers. And this is kind of a touchy situation because some of us are very competitive. But when we had a competition night, and there wasn't a lot of people here, we'd go around and we'd go, man, how did you do that? Or what's the circumstances? How'd you print it? How'd you, and we weren't even doing much Photoshop back then. It was very limited. In fact, we taught a class in Photoshop Elements, which was just the basic Photoshop. So I've thought of maybe, and it wouldn't be something big. This would be like maybe something to keep you, to either get you here early or keep you here later on a regular night and take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. And members could, maybe it'd be 1 or 2 members, depends on how involved it would be, and just whatever, and it's going to be, how'd he or how'd she do that? How did you get that picture? So just, an idea for us to truly be photographers helping photographers. And it could be, like I said, what was your Photoshop technique? I mean, we're not going to break out the computers, but what was your technique? What did you do to this? Or, what was the situation? Did you travel far? What was the time of day? Just whatever. Yes.
So I was in an organization that where members helped members. And once a year, we would have what was called a schoolhouse demo. And the room was set up with tables, and each person who was sharing a different technique, you could walk around the room and just stop and see and spend time with this person or the next one or the one across the hall. So that might be a way to.
Was it tabletop photography you're talking about, or what?
No, someone has a skill that they want to share.
Okay.
Like Jill Zabka, who does all those. I have no idea how she does what she does, but she would have a little table, and she might have some of her pictures on display, and people could walk up and say, find out a little bit more about her techniques. Mm-hmm. Dave Saborik is excellent at the portraits of people that he meets at different events. Mm-hmm. So he could talk a little bit about how does he do that. And so that kind of goes to, the sharing, and then everybody could kind of pick what they wanted.
I like that idea, and because there's a limit to how many computers we have available, that might be actually a better way to facilitate that. The member sets up their pictures, and somebody could come up and say, how did you do that? And they could explain the techniques.
Yeah, these are some interesting ideas to flesh out, but it's very interesting, Lisa's idea, because this isn't in fundamentals where you and I are, but I teach in the Photoshop and Lightroom class, and the biggest problem we have is people are always asking for help with their pictures on their computer or whatnot, and we don't have the time. We're teaching, and that's it. So we tell them ahead of time we are not going to be able to do that as well. However, in the mentoring program, which is if you get someone in the mentoring program that will mentor you on Photoshop, in a sense, I know there's a big need for that because that's what our students are always asking for. But the side advantage of that, if you could tell the students that this is one of the things they offer in the club, that would be an advantage for them to become a member. Because all of our students were teaching Photoshop and Lightroom, and they're saying, could you help me with this? Could you help me with this? Could you show me on my computer? And we say no. But if you're a member, one of our, we have a mentoring program, and there's people in that will sit down with you, and that could be done in the clubhouse here. They could bring in their laptops, and you could do that just as a clubhouse thing. Have all your mentees here, work with them on their laptops too, plus also show them here. And it would logistically be easy, but I think there is a need, and you'd get members as a side thing.
We certainly want to, of course, you can't teach all that there's a Photoshop, but I would want to do it as a teaser for our Photoshop class.
Yes, you're right. You don't want to give away the
Yeah,
class.
don't give away the whole barn, yeah.
Right. Or for some of them too, you're right. It is because it's going to be, you don't have a lot of time, but it becomes almost a teaser. Well, how do you do that? Well, we have a course for that too. I could show you the basics here, but you're right. You but I think there's a need there. It would be logistically easy to do. You could probably formulate some way to do that. And, and fold it into the mentor program.
Just to piggyback off of that, maybe it's the same idea, but I would like what we do at work when, we run different platforms and people, need to use them and want to learn them and that kind of thing is maybe once a quarter. I don't think we would want to do it once a month. Have a fix my photo. You're here for 2 hours and people could bring in an image and somebody could take 5 minutes in Photoshop or Lightroom. And then, like you said, with the teaser, all right, I could do more, or I could show you why, or you could learn why I'm doing this, but it's really best that you springboard into the next class.
Yeah, because also in terms of the need, you could tell because our critique nights that we've been doing for 2 years now are always very popular. And that's where people give us their pictures and we show them. And we've gotten a number of them as students then afterwards. But you're right, it just is. So I know the need is out there. People want to see this stuff.
No, this is it. Photographers helping photographers. These are great ideas. Anybody else? I forgot to, go ahead, John.
Created a Smug Mug website, or some of us using that. And there's a business side to it, of course. So maybe some classes on promoting your work through something like Smug Mug and just some business 101 stuff for photographers. Yeah, the business of photography. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it could be a multiple class of different aspects of the business of photography, whatever that is.
Yeah, that's,
And we just found another speaker. Yes, Bev was there. If you're right, that would be a nice one to also give a talk on.
it really would be because, I did weddings between late 70s, early 80s. I did 100 weddings before I wisely got out. And back then it was very easy to make money with, still easy to make money with wedding photography, but all the other kinds of photography, very hard to make money with, but be looking for great ideas for how to do a photo. We'd like to pay for our equipment too. Well, I just said, at least a way to. Mm-hmm. And you might get enough to buy a new lens, maybe. Anybody else? I forgot to mention two things. Well, one thing, and then maybe when we close, but I learned how to make popcorn. And Bob, yeah, in John's absence, while he's recovering from surgery, Bob's been making the popcorn. But if both of those are gone, I had to learn to make popcorn because we can't have a meeting without popcorn. So
Wait, I'd like to add too. That's one of the, here I acknowledge competition committee, all that stuff too, is every Friday night, Bob Kowaleski and John Hellman, since before I've been here too, have been here early, making the popcorn and getting things out. I like to give them a big hand.
yeah. Are there any other ideas? Don't be shy.
Just as a reminder, I don't know if anyone here isn't on the Facebook, the second CPS Facebook page, or it's actually a group called Your CPS Group. Just in case anybody doesn't know, it's out there. It is a private group, and to join, it's for members only. So to join, you really, well, you have to have a Facebook account, but you have to be friends with somebody else who's in the group, and then you can get an invite. And unfortunately, that's just the only way to do it for Facebook for a private group. So there was about 100, I think I checked the other day, there's 102 members right now. And considering that the club is close to 500, we don't have everybody. And I know a lot of people don't want to go on Facebook. I don't want to go on Facebook, but it sucked me in. So I don't know how to get the message out there because you do already have to be friends with somebody in order to join. I don't want to necessarily put my handle out there for everybody. I tried to do like a CPS admin kind of thing, and it blocked me for 180 days now for violating some type of violating something. I don't know. But if you are, especially for the folks at home, if you are on Facebook and you have Facebook friends that are with the club, see if anyone's in the group. But if not, you can probably send me an email, exhibits@clevelandphoto.org, and we could figure it out. But I just feel like we need to get more people in there.
Jen, if you could write up a little, because that would be another way to get it out, is write up a little thing on what you'd like to get out to the members and get it to Lori.
It's in my drafts right now.
But also, yes, and also.
I didn't want to put my email out there.
No.
everybody.
But if she has something that she could put in there, that gets a ton of views. And also, I will put it on the homepage.
Okay. Yeah.
You know,
It's
that-
literally in my drafts right now.
Give me bullet points and it'll be a Friday announcement.
Okay.
Chris, Richards, just a question. How many people view our weekly snapshot?
The snapshot goes out to
Lori says
Yeah.
it goes out to almost 3,000 people.
snapshot, yes.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
It goes out to about 3,000 people. So we have the membership, which is almost 500, but then we have what's called general interest people who they were either past members or students or whatever. So we have about 3,000 people that I send it to. And I think the open rate is it's a little over like 60%. So, I mean, I'd have to check it. It fluctuates weekly, but it's a significant amount of eyeballs. I mean, it's way more eyeballs than is in the club. So that's why and here's the thing, to go to the website, and nothing against our website, but you have to make an effort to go to the website to find information. Snapshot is passive. I'm sending it to your mailbox. All you got to do is click it and open it. Yeah. So there's a big difference in delivery of information. So I know myself, and this is terrible to say, the only reason I go to the CPS website is to see what I need to put in Snapshot. If I don't have to go into Snapshot, I don't open the CPS. Like it's like any other website. I don't just go to websites to read websites. So there's definitely a different delivery. So anything you want in any information you want to get out, get it to me, because I actually see more people than anybody else.
just out of curiosity, and I know the people to answer this probably aren't here, how difficult would it be to put on our website a page that just has links to all our other members' websites? You know, somebody wants to say, I want to see what Bob's been doing lately. I go to the website, there's Bob's website, click on it and go. I mean, it seems to be that, again, photographers helping photographers, we're sharing our work. And, you know, half the reason I come to competition nights isn't for the judges' comments, because I've heard most of that over the last 8 years, but I come for inspiration from other people's work. So why not have a place we can click on the website if it's not overly difficult to do?
That is, I could speak to one of those things. One, it's very easy to do. I've seen, it's an excellent idea because other clubs have that. They don't usually keep it current, but I always would like to see, and we used to have that in the distant past. It's very easy to do, to just put people's names and links up. We have to check with Kelly just to make sure not physically doing it, but there are any things about linking to other sites or whatnot that we should know about too. But the mechanics of it is easy.
Yeah, we one of the things I was going to mention too, because we have all these volunteers, is there's certain people that I have learned that I don't give a lot of work to, because we need everybody. But like Kelly's one of them. Chris Goff, our new treasurer, she's been great. I have to give her certain stuff, but there's certain people we don't want to overload, but I'd like to recognize her. The stuff she does for our website is just incredible, and just technology in general.
Yeah, that's Kelly Jameson.
Kelly Jameson. She is just, I think she calls herself a software architect, something like that, and way beyond me. But we've got so much talent like that is here in the club. Finances, Chris Goff, she starts talking finances to me, I glaze over. And of course, Belinda keeps me on track with Robert's rules. Yep. Mick, Mick just stepped out. He's an attorney. He's helped us out with some attorney things. So you never know who you're talking with. We've got jet pilots or past jet pilots in here. I was a health inspector. I don't know if you guys knew that, but don't hold that against me. I can trap birds and draw blood samples, so it was a really cool job. Wally.
Yeah, I did a sport workshop a few months ago, and I was reminded, I thought about it, and there's a kayaking festival in Cuyahoga Falls, and I thought it's in July, and I was going to wait to tell Bev about it. But I just looked it up, and it's next Saturday.
Oh.
So maybe I can pass it on to you, and you can. It's
We can
easy.
put
It's really easy to shoot.
Snapchat?
Yeah,
I mean, and the other thing to keep to think about, so that's this coming Saturday?
yes. Next Saturday.
Next Saturday,
yeah.
so they could go on Monday's snapshot. Also, just along those lines, Kim Vasilevsky is our new person now who is coordinating and starting field trips. We are going to be doing a 4th of July charter boat. We've already reserved it, just so you know. She's working on other things. But if you think of things like that could be a field trip, or maybe just an announcement to people, here's a place to find things to shoot.
Okay, and it's really easy. You probably need about a 200 millimeter lens, maybe a 300, and it's right at the Sheraton Hotel, right down there. Easy.
People can
Yeah.
post on the Facebook.
And then-
Anybody can post on the Facebook, or they have to go to the administrator? Because it's private. Okay.
Yeah,
Good to
that
know.
and
Yeah,
two things. One, I just had this horrible thought. You writing all this down?
I'm taking notes.
Because all these great ideas, and I'm thinking, I'm not right. Okay, so you're taking,
Just so you know, Richard,
yeah.
this is being recorded.
Oh, oh my gosh, that's right.
Not that he didn't, is the one that
Sometimes
taught.
I just,
So I shouldn't confess this, but I've made a few mistakes along
Oh.
the way, and I've failed to record one of our meetings.
anyone who, and I've done that, anyone who tells you they haven't made a mistake,
Yeah.
like the exposure compensation for getting to turn it back or something too, they're lying to you. But I have, one quick thing is that and write this down too, we have it in the past, and I think back when I was president, there was a reluctance to, someone wanted to say about some event or something, but it wasn't a CPS event. And we talked about, are we going to start marketing other people's things and whatnot? But I think there is a place we're all looking for interesting things to photograph, is to have somewhere a listing of, not being a field trip or something, but like what Wally said, is here are some interesting things coming up so that members could just, see and whatnot, and be it the Hale Farm reenactment or the Kaneati Day or things that, or the Cuyahoga. So I think we should have a way to have that somewhere so that a member could suggest that, and we could post that as well as the weekly snapshot. Yeah.
Just a Facebook, she mentioned the Facebook group. There's also individual topics within that section that maybe it's on Nikon or maybe other Olympus or whatever, that you may want to ask questions that other people can answer for you, etc.
Yeah, we'll try to find a place where we have upcoming items of interest to photographers.
Good stuff. Anybody else? All right, so you see me cry, I want to make you laugh. Because, my mom passed away a year ago, May, and she was very private, and I had to ask her this, and I said, I could like cry at the drop of a hat. She goes, you were like that from the time you were born. So, and guys hate it, right, guys? We can't stand it. I mean, the girls seem to like it. I don't know, but so anyway, I love laughter. I mean, so I got to tell you a joke. Some of you probably already heard this. It's one of my favorites. I haven't rehearsed it. Well, hope it works. So this guy's walking down the street, and he's by the pet store, and it says, talking dog for sale, $5. So he goes inside and talks to the manager. You got a talking dog? He goes, yeah, he's in the back. So he goes up to this dog, goes, can you talk? And the dog says, sure I can. Can you say anything else? He goes, well, yeah, I've lived a very interesting life. I was a rescue dog, and I was seeing eye dog for a while, and now I just go to the senior center and I read to the seniors. Oh my gosh. He goes back to the owner. That dog's incredible. Why are you selling him for only $5? He goes, because he's a liar. He never did any of that stuff. Oh, no. You're at home, they're throwing stuff at me now. So if there's nothing else, I guess we could officially close the business meeting. And there's